The ship hung silently in the dark expanse of the galaxy, its hull glinting faintly under the light of distant stars. Captain Elias had always believed that he had seen the wonders of the universe, but nothing had prepared him for the moment he would witness next. On board, the alien queen, tall, regal, with skin that shimmered like liquid silver, stood near the observation deck, her eyes fixed on a small group of children playing in the corner. They were not alien children, they were the offspring of humans, and her reaction would shock the entire crew. Elias had met the queen only a few years ago, during a tense negotiation between humanity and her species. The first meeting had been fraught with suspicion and subtle threats, each side trying to read the other's intentions. Humanity had no experience dealing with a civilization as advanced and proud as hers. They had called her a monarch, but Elias had quickly learned that she carried more power in a flick of a hand than many worlds could muster in centuries. Yet, behind the icy demeanor, Elias noticed a trace of curiosity, of longing, as if she was searching for something lost. The children were unaware of her presence, laughing and chasing a small holographic orb that flickered and darted like a living thing. They were half human, half alien, their forms carrying hints of both species, the smooth, elongated limbs of their mother and the soft, round features of their human fathers. Their existence had been kept secret for years. Born quietly on a secluded colony where the queen had insisted on living incognito, she had always been cautious, knowing that the revelation could ignite political storms across her world and beyond. But now, standing at the edge of the observation deck, her silver eyes widened in disbelief. The children reminded her of a line she had thought broken, a connection she believed lost to the void of space. Each giggle and tumble seemed to awaken memories buried beneath centuries of duty, of endless councils and battles fought in silence. Elias, noticing her reaction, felt a shiver run through him. He had seen leaders react to crises, to triumphs, to threats, but never like this. Never with the tenderness and shock that now softened her formidable presence. "Your Majesty," Elias said carefully, stepping closer. "Are you all right?" She turned slowly, her gaze still lingering on the children. Her voice, when it came, was almost a whisper, though it carried the weight of her authority. "I never thought I would see this, that this could be possible." Elias frowned, sensing the depth of what she was processing. "You mean, the children?" "Yes," she breathed, and for the first time Elias saw her vulnerability. They are the bridge I thought could never exist. Grandchildren born of a human. It's impossible." Elias hesitated. The revelation was not entirely new to him. He had known that the queen had hidden the existence of offspring born from human unions, but to see her struggle to comprehend their presence, to watch centuries of command and control falter in the face of something so profoundly personal, was something entirely different. The children continued to play, oblivious to the storm of emotions around them. One of them, a boy with curious eyes that mirrored both human warmth and alien depth, stumbled and looked up at the queen. For a moment, he seemed to sense her gaze, a recognition crossing his small features. He smiled shyly and waved, and something in her heart shifted. Elias noticed it immediately. "They recognize you," he said softly. "Even at this age, they feel your presence." The queen knelt down, lowering herself to their level. Her hands, delicate yet strong, reached out to brush a strand of hair from the boy's face. He giggled and backed up slightly, unsure of whether to approach or retreat. The queen's eyes softened further, glimmering with a light that made Elias momentarily forget she was a ruler capable of annihilating entire fleets. "I never imagined," she murmured as if speaking to herself. "I always thought my line would end with me, that nothing of me, nothing of this world, would ever mix with another. Yet here they are." Elias placed a hand on her shoulder, steadying her. "They are proof of something remarkable, that even across worlds, life can find a way, that even in the darkness of space, bonds can form that no one can predict." Her gaze returned to the children, and now, there was something almost fragile in the way she looked at them. Memories seemed to cascade behind her eyes of long-lost family, of connections she had sacrificed for duty, of a loneliness that stretched across centuries. She had ruled with unmatched wisdom and strength, but she had never allowed herself the thought that joy could survive in the spaces between politics and war. The children sensed the shift. Growing bolder, the boy stepped forward, holding out a small, glowing crystal that pulsed with a soft light. It was one of the queen's creations, though she had never expected it to be handled by children of her own blood. She took it carefully, her long fingers curling around it as if it were the most delicate thing in existence. Elias watched in awe. This was a moment of history, yet intimate, personal, and sacred. The queen, whose reputation had been built on conquest and diplomacy, was now a grandmother, and she had no guide, no map, for the overwhelming surge of emotion that came with it. "I don't know what to say," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I thought I understood the universe. I thought I had seen all that could be seen, but this is beyond anything I could have imagined." Elias smiled gently. "Sometimes the universe surprises us, Your Majesty. Sometimes it gives us things we never dared hope for." Her silver eyes met his, and there was an unspoken understanding between them, a recognition that some moments transcended politics, transcended duty, transcended even centuries of careful planning. Here was a miracle not of science or strategy, but of life itself. Over the next few hours, the Queen watched her grandchildren with a mixture of fascination and disbelief. She learned their names slowly, hearing the syllables shaped by human tongues, yet somehow fitting seamlessly with her own language. She listened to their laughter, to their stories of playground adventures and small human triumphs, and felt her heart expand in ways it had not in centuries. Elias observed quietly, giving her space to experience this revelation. He knew that she would need time to adjust to the knowledge that her bloodline now stretched across species, that humanity in her world had created something entirely new and beautiful. He also knew that once the initial shock passed, she would become fiercely protective, as only someone who had commanded empires could be. As night fell over the ship, the observation deck dimming to soft starlight, the Queen finally spoke again. "I never thought I would find joy in this way, that my lineage would continue not just within my own species, but through these small, fragile, incredible beings, children of two worlds, grandchildren born of a human." Elias nodded. "They are your legacy, your majesty, and perhaps in time they will be the bridge that unites our worlds in ways we cannot yet imagine." The Queen's gaze softened further. "Yes, perhaps. For the first time in centuries I feel hope. Not the hope of victory or conquest, but hope of connection, of family, of life continuing in ways that honor both the past and the future." The children, sensing her mood, crawled onto her lap, hugging her with the innocent trust of youth. She held them carefully, her hands trembling slightly, not with weakness, but with the weight of a joy she had never allowed herself to feel. Elias felt a lump in his throat. This was what humanity had always dreamed of encountering, not just allies or technology, but something deeper, something profoundly human, the ability to touch hearts and change destinies. Hours passed, yet the Queen remained with her grandchildren, speaking softly, laughing quietly, letting herself be vulnerable in ways she had never permitted in public. The ship itself seemed to hum gently around them, as if acknowledging the monumental shift taking place within its walls. The universe, vast and unfeeling, had given her a gift she had thought impossible. Elias finally left her side, knowing that this was a private moment that no one else could intrude upon. As he walked down the corridor, he felt the weight of what he had witnessed. Here was a leader who had shaped empires, faced threats that would have shattered ordinary beings, and yet, faced with her own family, she was humbled. It was a reminder that even the most powerful could be touched by something simple, something profound. In the days that followed, the Queen began to integrate her grandchildren more openly into her life, revealing them slowly to the closest advisors, who watched with a mixture of awe and caution. Across the galaxy, news eventually spread that the Queen's bloodline had entwined with humanity's, creating a lineage that would forever alter interstellar politics. But for Elias, for those who had witnessed the first moments, it was never about strategy or influence. It was about the quiet, the transformative power of life and family. And the Queen herself, once a figure of distant authority and unyielding power, found something that no empire could offer: the joy of grandchildren, born of a human, who would carry her legacy forward in ways she could never have imagined. She had seen the universe, faced its dangers, commanded its respect, but in those children, she found the one thing that made all her victories feel incomplete without them: love. The galaxy, vast and uncharted, held countless mysteries. Yet for the Queen, the greatest wonder of all had been quietly sitting on her lap, laughing and reaching for the stars, a reminder